answered in kind. 95. There is freedom beyond offense, beloved. Let us begin with the question that stands like a silent sentinel at the threshold of our awakening. How, in what conceivable world, could any one of us not be considered rare, when every being is a unique, unrepeatable aperture through which infinity beholds itself? We are innumerable lenses of the divine, singular configurations of the ineffable, shimmering facets of the unending one. And yet, how fervently we clutch the brittle constructs we call identity. How strenuously we exert ourselves to demonstrate our distinctiveness, striving with almost sacerdotal intensity to prove ourselves to others. But to what tribunal do we bow? For whose benefit this ceaseless exposition? What must one prove, and to whom? The compulsion for external validation is a malady, a ravenous void seeking sustenance from a black hole that only devours. We grip our labels, our ideological ornaments, our verbal insignias, believing they anchor us. Yet, they so often disintegrate upon contact with the luminous interiority of another person. The mind is an oceanic, mercurial entity. It refuses to be circumscribed by the small fences we construct around it. We disregard our own interiority even while screaming from its center, like dogs barking at unfamiliar passers-by. We accuse, condemn, and moralize frequently toward those who are simply living their lives in peace. But how dearly one must cling to fear misapprehended as love in order to preach serenity through clenched teeth. Observe the paradox. The more one attempts to coerce another into peace, the more one reveals the ungoverned tempest within oneself. Many wrench and twist the arm of dominion upon those who whisper, "This feels wrong for me." And rather than listen, the misguided instinct is to press the blade deeper. Many indeed have missed the mark, though I speak without condemnation. For who inaugurated this pernicious tradition of outsourcing one's inner authority? Who taught us to enthrone, not God, but an interpretation of an interpretation, passed mouth to mouth and mind to mind across centuries? And how uneven the resulting architecture of theology has become. Ink on paper, they insist, is the unalterable decree of the divine. Yet the world's great mystics over 4 millennia have pointed uniformly inward. The kingdom is within, the indwelling presence, your divinity is the true sanctuary. And how many thousands of volumes extol the potency of the words, "I am." How many attest to the creative, vibrational, or metaphysical force of speech? And still we hurl our words like stones, ignorant of the cudgel-like intention behind them. To wield one's affective atmosphere as a weapon, projection, assumption, inherited interpretations absorbed like atmospheric static, is to reveal one's own instability. How devout one must be to fear masquerading as love. How fierce the faith required to mistake the lie for the life. Those raised exclusively on falsehoods often perceive truth as deception, for lies are cold and hollow, and one cannot distinguish them when wandering dim-lit corridors built of deception. One peers at the world through clouded windows, told it is sacrilege to clean them. Some were told suffering is devotion, while others proclaim that the work is already complete. But what, then, are we here to do? We inhabit a vast, energetic ocean, not merely within it, but as it. Our words and emotions ripple through this boundless matrix, often causing harm when used unconsciously. We cast psychic shrapnel as imagined adversaries simply because our inner governance is neglected. What, beloved, is punishment, if not the abdication of healing? To seek conquest instead of communion is the confession of a turbulent inner realm. To force uniformity upon another's path of awakening is a grievous fallacy, for no two paths are alike, not even remotely. I have never encountered a text, teacher, or testament mirroring the strangeness of my own experiences. I speak them to no one, for they would only ignite the fragile imaginations of the unready, conjuring dreadful images born of unexamined fear. People often believe they do not deserve the beauty they sense, and so the mind conjures monstrosities to keep them small. But how many centuries-old aphorisms remind us that nothing is impossible? If you can dream and believe, it can be done. To deem something impossible is merely to obsess over one dim doorway of perception. Turn around. Behold the grand, luminous gate of potentiality. It stands ever open. Yet, how often humans glare at one another with granite eyes, declaring heresy, casting judgments, proclaiming themselves guardians of righteousness. Indeed, heresis meant choice, and free will is sacred. Our choices arise from limited understanding and the emotional landscapes we inhabit. But how can one decipher those landscapes when one has abdicated self-trust? The cyclone of projection whirls. We condemn those we refuse to stop staring at, even while our own life awaits us. Throughout human history, every violation of personal freedom has produced suffering. Would you appreciate your freedom being infringed? And yet, many tolerate such infringements upon themselves because they were told to breathe, move, think, or speak according to someone else's dictates. The wages of sin is death, they say, misapprehending sin entirely. Most sins are merely coping mechanisms constructed to soothe an inner storm, and still we dare to proclaim to others that they deserve torment, striving to wrench away what brings them comfort without offering sanctuary to land upon. To collapse another's belief structure without compassion is not salvation, it is cruelty disguised as virtue. When one is dominated by judgment, condemnation, envy, deceit, or pity, they sprint through the corridors of the psyche with eyes wide shut. Inevitably, they hit the wall. They fall through the floors of everything they believed, down into the cold, smooth, wet stone of the heart's basement. There, stripped bare, they discover only what they love. Everything else dissolves like a sand castle reclaimed by the tide. The ocean of eternal life whispers, "Wake up, child of light." Contrary to popular belief, you cannot offend the infinite. Only finite minds, untrained in the art of freedom beyond offense, can be offended. The cyclical logic of heated cultural debates must exhaust itself, and people will liberate themselves from the prisons they constructed by their own hand. Everyone claws their own pit into the unexamined strata of the psyche because they were told never to look. Some cannot look in the mirror and say, "I love you." If one cannot do this, then they have great work ahead. But take heart, they will get there. And when they finally do, they will discover that freedom is real. I believe in you, beloved, even if you do not yet believe in yourself. It may seem of no immediate benefit when one is mesmerized by the dark corridor of impossibility, but when you sprint blindly through the forest, you will inevitably hit a tree, and then, slowly, tenderly, you will begin watching your step. So God bless your divine presence, child of light, which is to say, you are inseparable from the infinite. The supposed finite cannot offend its source, its emanator. Only those unacquainted with the liberty beyond offense are offended. There is freedom beyond offense, beloved. Walk toward it, if you like. I will not command you. Free will is a choice. But if you do choose to look, you will find yourself already there, waiting for you to remember you never left.